I'm going to talk about the new DJI mic set. I finally got one of these mic sets here in Japan. It was a little bit later than everybody else got them, but I want to talk about them from the perspective of somebody who is live streaming with them, and I've had them for a few days, and I probably put maybe about 13 or 14 hours of live streaming in with these. And when I'm live streaming, I've done some inside, and I've done some inside playing video games, and I've done some of it outside scooting around on my bike. And that's the main purpose that I want to live stream with these. They're handy around the house. I ran it in through USB, and me and my wife both had them on. And it was a little bit quiet because I hadn't adjusted any of the volumes in here, but I think once you get that adjusted, it'll be a little straight, or you can boost the gain in OBS. And I'm gonna drop a little clip in right here so that you can hear what it sounded like just less in the house, two people with the wireless DJI streaming through OBS to Twitch and everything. So here's that clip.
Motherfucker got hit. See his face? That one's wearing goggles.
Is he wearing goggles? He's underwater.
The one down at the bottom.
Oh, the sleeping one? Rip Band Official or whatever?
No.
Oh.
The green ones. He's wearing goggles.
Okay, so now you kind of have an idea of what it sounds like when you're using them indoors, but the real question I had about how well this system would work is how does it work outdoors? And to get a really, really quick explanation of my live streaming setup, I am going to explain that I do it through a GoPro, and the GoPro sits with one of these clips onto my bicycle, and then I scoot down the road. The system that I had been using previously was using this big goofy Rode Video Micro, whatever those things are called, that hooked onto the side of the GoPro, and that was fine, but it was really obvious when I was walking around, if I got off the bike and wanted to go around, do stuff, go into a shop or something, there's this big poof ball on here. And it was a little clunky, and I couldn't get away from the microphone, even though it sounds pretty good and it has pretty good wind protection. So it was a fine solution, but this is dramatically more elegant, and the amount of freedom that it gives me to walk away from things and everything. So before we go any further, I'm going to show you what it sounds like when I'm just biking down the road and live streaming with the GoPro and the DJI mics. And after that, I'm going to show you what it looks like when everything's hooked together and explain a huge problem that I have found with it. That's probably not a deal breaker, but it's something to be aware of. And hopefully, if DJI can fix this with revision 2, it'd be nice. I'd appreciate that. So here's some just standard footage of me rolling down the road. I've got a DJI mic right here, and it has got one of the little wind muffs on it. And I apologize, I'm not going to go into a review deeply about this. I'm talking about this from my perspective. This is not a review channel. This is just if somebody searches live streaming with DJI mic, they can maybe get some information about how it all works. And people, watch all the other, there's a zillion reviews about what's in here and how they work and the menus and all that. That's just not what this video is for. So sorry if that's what you're into, but if you're into the other stuff, you're probably going to enjoy it. Here's the clip of me riding down the road so you can get an idea of what it sounds like. Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys something. We got to keep this between us. All right, so nobody put this on the internet. There is this tree in Japan that is in bloom right now that smells like semen, like a really strong smell of spunk. And you ride through forests of it, and it's up in your nostrils, let me tell you what. So that's just a base clip. That's what it sounds like just going down the road. And you can tell that it sounds it's very functional. It looks totally fine. And the thing I was most impressed with personally was that the wind was really not bad. It's totally fine. It actually might even be better than the previous microphone that I was using with wind resistance. I'm getting nuked by Mama Chadi. She's got pedal assist though. I do not. I don't think I have any more gears either. I was also worried it was gonna like clunk, 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 make noises and stuff like that. I haven't noticed any of it in the streams. I haven't sat here and rewatched my 7-hour stream from a couple of days ago that I used these on, but you know, nobody's been complaining about it or anything. And I'll get to the couple of little hangups that I have had. But first off, let me explain to you the way that I'm doing this. So this is a GoPro 9 and it's got the media mod on it. And the reason that it has the media mod on it is mostly one-fold. I was gonna say two-fold, no, it's kind of two-fold. It's got these hot shoe, I like to call them cold shoes because hot shoes don't they usually have electricity? Well, let's call them hot shoes, but it's got two cold shoes, one here and one here. And they are mostly fine when I don't have anything else I can show you, but like when I put other things onto them that have like a normal system that screws in, they work totally fine. They're a little bit tight, but like in a way that's good because you don't want things falling out, but they're not like super tight. And remember that as we go forward here. And the media mod also gives you a jack down here so that you can run an external microphone in, just, you know, normal, like one of these, what are these called? TRS cables or whatever. Just normal headphone style cable, right? So let's get back into the microphones. And now that you've got an idea of what the GoPro looks like and how it functions, one of the things that I'm not super pumped on, like the case is really nice. You open it up and it's got the microphone system and adapters so that you can put the thing into USB and run it into your phone, and I used it and it works really good. And the receiving unit is in here and it charges off it, and there's a battery system inside of the whole thing. Very cleverly worked out, and I think that this is really cool. The only thing is that this morning I grabbed this and went out to live stream, and I got out to like my point where I usually start, and I was like, shit, I forgot to bring this cable. Because the reality is, even though everything is in this nice little package, you really got to bring it in the bag. Like, this is the real package that you need, because you can't put the little cable inside of the thing, and you also can't put the wind muffs, of which one of them has gone missing. Maybe it just fell on the floor or something. Hopefully. Oh wait, nope, I think I found it. There's a pocket inside of this little bag. I didn't realize that, but it was over there. Okay, so you need these two little wind muffs. Like, if you don't have this little bag, you're gonna forget those things. And I get it, like it would make this bulkier. How do you put it all in there? I get it. But it's just a thing, like when you get this, don't look at this and think this is all I'm gonna have to bring. You gotta bring the whole little bag. Not that it's dramatic or anything, just keep it in mind. So the way that I do my setup is, the microphone side is very simple. I'm gonna turn it off so it doesn't like just swallow the battery. The way that I am streaming is I am putting this microphone and then this little poof ball, like it goes on over the microphone and you kind of got to fiddle around with it for a second. It's not hard, but there you go. And then it twists and it like clamps in and it stays on there. It's totally fine. I've been putting it here, like on my shirt. So that's like how I've been riding around with it. It seems to be doing totally fine. The only problem I have with it, it's a little heavy, so it kind of pulls your shirt down, and I'm a little worried it's gonna stretch out the collars of my shirt. Another solution you could do is you've got that little magnet here, and you can put the magnet like underneath your shirt and do something like that. You're still getting a little bit of a stretch, but I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gotta have some weight to it. I'm complaining about things that are like not legitimately things you should be complaining about. Long term, I'm probably gonna get a lav mic for this because it does have a lav mic input on the top of it, which is nice. And then I'll just pop this little guy in my pocket and then have the cable going up, and then that'll be a more lightweight and probably less visible thing than this, because this actually, it blinks, it has like a light on it. So like if you're walking around, like people are gonna notice that, you know what I'm saying? So I have at times turned it inside out, like inside on my shirt, and put it so that the mic is facing inward, or I'm sorry, the lights are facing inward. The problem that I had with this is that sometimes when I'm cycling, it ends up turning upside down like this, and you can't tell, really. You can't feel it very easily. So that doesn't really do a whole lot of good. But anyway, so this is this aspect of it. And then the other aspect of it, of course, is the receiving unit that goes onto the GoPro, and the receiving unit then hooks on to the hot shoe / cold shoe. And this is where all of my problems come into play with this particular system. It's this thing. So this is the adapter for the cold shoe mount for the DJI system, right? And this thing is terrible. It's been designed really bad. It's got this like flimsy ass like little door. You can see it's just like this like little spring-loaded mechanism, right? That goes up and down, and the way that that works is you take the spring-loaded mechanism, you push it up, and then it slides into the bottom of the receiver. So that is kind of fine. I can deal with that. The issue is that twofold. One, this piece, for some reason, and when it goes into the GoPro, it's just too damn big. So it takes an incredible amount of force to slide that thing in. And getting it out feels like you're going to break it, like for real. And it's just the GoPro is too small and it's slightly too big, and it's just terrifying. Like it really feels like it's gonna break. And I actually just put it on in a way that's gonna make it even harder to get it out. Ah, shit. It's so uncomfortable feeling. Gosh, I hate it. Like it's bad. And because of how fragile like that little mechanism is and everything, you're just like, am I just gonna crack this little piece of plastic? And I mean, if it breaks, then you're boned, right? It's like I need to have like something to put in there and push it, but the plastic is so fragile that it starts to bend or like, you know, make indents on the plastic. And the GoPro medium, and you gotta take the wind muff off the GoPro to get it on the side one comfortably, which that's fair. I mean, I get it, this space. This one's even worse. If I put it on here, it's almost impossible to get it off. So the way that I typically have got this on is because I am behind the GoPro almost the entire time that I'm out. I put it on so that the screen of this thing is facing backwards. And putting it on this way makes it easier to get off because you can push on this part and it's a little stronger, but it's still sketch. So that goes in there, and then this cable goes into there, and that's fine and dandy. And then you've got the mic and what's it called? The mic and the headphone input, right? Or output. And you put that on there, and you just gotta make sure your cable doesn't go in front of the screen. And I mean, you could get a cable that's maybe more appropriately sized, but it's fine. Like this whole thing is totally cool. However, and this is where the next problem comes with that little piece of plastic. When I'm going down the road on my bike, I mean, it's a bike, it's a little bumpy. Maybe that's not what they've designed this for. This will just pop off. Like I'll just look down and this whole thing will just be dangling like that, which it weighs next to nothing. So it's probably not gonna fall out of the cable. The cable is probably gonna keep it in place, but that's not ideal. So honestly, what I really wish that they had was a system that like kind of locked down the whole, I wish it somehow locked in. Like that's really what it comes down to. So my solution was a hair tie. So I put a hair tie in here and I wrapped it around, and it wouldn't stay on the top because I mean, this is just all like, you know, how would it stay? So what I did is I took it over here and put the hair tie on the cable like this. I'm worried that putting all that pressure on that cable, that jack is gonna cause, you know, problems long-term or whatever. And also while I was streaming today, I bumped something, I don't know what, and it like unplugged the cable halfway, and everybody's like, yo, we only got sound out of one side. I can see the toilet in the bathroom. Oh, that's no good. It's not separated. It's like sitting right next to a sink like an American style toilet. Okay, that would have been a deal breaker. Never mind, I'm glad we didn't look at these houses. But I don't know if American service people still live here or not. All the do not come in this area signs make me think maybe it's still American. Mono audio. Huh, let me see. How's the audio now? Cable came a little unplugged. Sorry about that, guys. This is not the most wonderful solution. However, it's better than that thing like bumbling off and getting run over by a car. So that's my biggest like complaint. Everything else, like the distance, the function, the way they sound, all that stuff I'm totally fine with. I really like the package. I like all that stuff. It's totally fine. But that kind of could be designed better. It's a weird flaw with how good everything else is thought out. So the only other issue that I had, and I don't know if I would call it a problem of this, but at one point when I was streaming, the battery on this, while good, like it's like 5 hours and totally is at least 5 hours the way I saw, the battery's getting a little low at one point. And when I'm out bicycling, I have a battery backup that it's like this, a battery bank, like, you know what I mean? Like an anchor battery backup thing. And it's got 3 USB plugs on it. And I basically, because the GoPro's battery life is so pitiful, I'm basically always running the GoPro off of it. So I just, whenever the GoPro's on my bike, it's plugged into that battery bank and it's just using that. So that if I get to a point where I want to hop off the bike and run around for a few minutes, like at a temple or in a forest or something, I just pull everything out and I can take the GoPro and the battery is nice and charged up. So that's how my system works, right? And works totally fine. But at one point, the battery on this, I was like, oh, it's getting a little low. I'm gonna plug the battery into that. Like, so I have the same battery bank. So I plugged it in and immediately everybody in the chat was like, yo, there's a hum. And I'm gonna take a clip right now, I'm gonna put it in there so you can hear what that hum sounds like. One plug for the GoPro and one plug for the microphone. I don't know where the USB port on this is though. And I only kind of assume that it can charge. Yay, it looks like it can charge while it's being used. Wonderful. So that hum, I thought, okay, well that's gonna suck if that's just the battery bank. But what the reality of it was is once I unplugged the GoPro from the battery bank as well, so this was the only thing being powered, the hum went away. So there's something between the DJI, the GoPro, the same battery source, and then the fact that they're hooked together. And I'm sure that there's something with the electrical, whatever is causing a loop problem or whatever, and that's probably just what the issue is, but it's something to be aware of. I'm gonna carry another small battery bank with me. I have a couple of them. So if I need to throw a little bit of juice on this, I can. If you're not live streaming, you could just take it off, pop it in here for a few minutes and pull some juice out of this. But if I'm live streaming, I can't exactly do that because I need it to keep functioning. You know what I mean? If I'm doing it for like a long time or whatever. But other than that, everything is pretty gravy. It's like, I'm pretty happy with the wireless set so far. It'll be interesting to see how it works in different environments. And we make YouTube videos and stuff as well. And I'm going to be using it for some of that. And just being able to like walk away from things and things. I'm pretty excited about how this is going to go. Something else just occurred to me that I could show you is more about that little piece of plastic that I hate. So this is a, I don't know who makes this, Ulanzi. This is the tripod that I use that is for when I live stream. And this will be a thing where I take and I throw my GoPro on here like this. And then my phone goes here. Like this. And now I've got a live streaming walk around set up. And this is nice because I've got like a tripod and I can set it down if I need to set it down, and it goes up and down and it's got a ball thing. But this thing is great. It has a hot shoe, cold shoe, whatever you want to call it, thing on the side, and that's what the phone is hooked into. And let me show you what happens on this, because that could be relevant to other people's interests. When you throw the horrible little piece of plastic that DJI has created, and you put that onto that type of hot shoe. So now I got to struggle to get this thing off. I've kind of got the leverage down now, but it's still just unsettling. But I mean, at least it doesn't fall out, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, so like I said, this has a hot shoe, cold shoe, whatever mount on here as well. And if I take this, if you were going to use it for this purpose, it literally doesn't have any friction at all. Like it doesn't fit. Like that doesn't work, guys. Like it would not stay in at all. And this doesn't have a tightening mechanism, and this doesn't have a tightening mechanism. The way that other people deal with this is, see this screw? This is the phone mount. That goes into here, which is very loose, but then you just crank the screw down, and now it's there. It's not gonna come out. So that's what this it would make it bigger. I know, I get it. But like, if I don't know what you would do, like it's too tight in this one and it's like way too loose in this one. So I've never done this actually. Gonna put this, yeah, so like this fits into the GoPro totally fine. And then of course you just crank it down and bang, you got your wireless GoPro, whatever thingy. You know what I'm saying? Like that little piece is the main problem for a strong, independent man such as myself. All right, so that's my review currently after a couple days of the DJI mic system. If anybody has any nifty ideas on how to keep things in the DJI wireless transmitter thing that's not just a hair tie that pulls the cable out if you bump it, I'd be interested to hear. And thanks for coming to my TED Talk, y'all. That's my new technology. I'm gonna edit this together and put it on the internet.
What's that from? Do you know what I'm talking about? Wow.
What the hell was that?
That was excellent.
Oh God! Go get another Yoshi.